Don't you find it funny that you get to become friends with people without necessarily knowing what they are all about? And eventually in time you get to see that you are more alike than that person than you would have thought in the beginning. This is a very common occurrence to me. So hi, this is Victor. This is a Q&A. Actually, it's a video newsletter. I've never done this before, but I thought, hey, what a good idea. It allows me more freedom to speak on topics which are not that straightforward. Like, I don't have a single theme. And all those tiny topics, they won't make a single particular video. So it's great if I can jumble them. So the title is not a clickbait. I'm incredibly grateful to Nikhil, and I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing it right, or to Captain Sinbad, because that's easier to pronounce for me. The story goes like this. I was watching his videos. I was binge watching them. I saw his series about Jordan Peterson, and he was basically imitating all kinds of personalities, and they cracked me up. I was laughing so much. I swear, for 2 days I binge watched his channel. And he had tons of videos about self-improvement, about helping others, about helping himself. And at one point he was saying, hey, you know what, if I'm doing this kind of videos, why can't you? And he was repeating this over and over. And don't get me wrong, it's not my first rodeo. It's the same as with New Year resolutions. And this is why I wanted to bring this up to you, because it's the same as with them. It's not your first rodeo. But if you don't change anything, nothing is going to change. So in this case, because see, I was listening to all those guys, to Gary Vee, who was shouting about creating content and all of that, and none of it would reach me. And somehow I saw this guy, and he seemed like an average dude to me, a dude like me and you. Obviously, his skills are much greater than mine. I'm not even putting an equal sign between us. But he seemed like an approachable, down-to-earth guy, and he was very upfront with the things that he's facing. And I clearly recommend you checking his channel. I love his stuff so much, but he was the one that gave me sort of this impulse, because he literally went back and showed his very first video. And while my videos are poorly lit, the sound is kind of crap, and also English is not my first language, his first couple of videos, or even more than that, were not that great either. So I realized, hey, you know what, that would be a great starting point to just film some videos, see where this goes, see if I like it. And it helped me more than I can say. It came in a time in my life when I had some personal failures, and I'm not hiding behind those. I take responsibility for them. And in accordance to that, I became to be obviously more stressed, but a bit more down and a bit more on the negative side. And I had nothing that interested me. There was no passion there left for me in anything that I was doing. So I started filming those videos. And the first one was okay, kind of cool. I didn't like it that much. Then I started enjoying editing. I started enjoying putting things together, and it made so much fun to me. Obviously, I'm not using After Effects, I'm not using any crazy effects, and you can see the production value is kind of low, because I explained at some point that I don't have that much time to put videos. I usually work a lot during the week, and I have some other side things that I have to take care after, so I usually get like 1 or 2 free hours each day. And if I get like 2 hours per day, trying to edit a video, which is more complicated than what I'm doing right now, is going to be quite tough. But I enjoy this so much, and I cannot think and I cannot be grateful enough to Nikhil for literally giving, I know it's stupid that it sounds like this, but he gave me permission to be myself in front of other people. Usually you don't, you have to give yourself this kind of permission. I was lucky that I got inspired by him, and then things started to be more and more enjoyable as time went. And this whole idea of a newsletter, I love so much Jordan Peterson's Q&As. Obviously, again, I'm not at his level. I'm reading, I'm learning, I'm getting to be there. He has obviously years of clinical experience. He has so many good ideas that he developed during this time, and I'm just in the learning process. But the things that have helped me, I'm trying to share those with you. So I found incredibly fascinating to just listen to a person who was able to be captivating, even though he wasn't necessarily reading after a script, even though he was going off rails, even though maybe he was just answering to common questions such as how can I deal if my dog died? I mean, that's honestly a terrible thing to deal with. And all that kind of questions that he addressed. Obviously, a lot of the questions about personality and such. But those are two things that are combined into me today, filming this and talking to you like a friend, and I'm thankful that you're here, to be fair. So the second thing that I wanted to share with, and that's why I started the whole idea with the friends, we're perfectionists. Like all of my friends, I swear to God, we want everything to be done perfectly. We want everything to be done to get, let's say, a potential 95 or 100 mark if the life would rank us or would mark us. And that's almost impossible in 80 or 90% of scenarios. I kid you not. Most of the things, if you're doing them so that if you could grade yourself, you are, hey, you know what? That's a good effort, that's a solid 8, that's a solid 7. 7 is kind of low, okay? But if it's a solid 8, then you're good to go. You should try to share that thing with the world and get some sort of feedback and address the feedback, try to improve on your project, and then maybe from an 8 it goes to a 9 or a 9.5. And again, this ranking system is just inside your brain. But going back to Jordan Peterson and what he was saying, we kind of know this ranking system inside of our brain. It's something that we inherently know. We know where we are in the social ladder, and we don't need Instagram or Facebook to tell us that some people are living better lives and some people are living more terrible lives. We kind of know where we're at, and it's the same with the work that we are doing. I mean, this is honestly maybe a 6 or a 7 in my book, but it still will get posted because I think it allows other people the chance to start doing something maybe poorly at the start and then to improve as the time flies. And I want to give this kind of mindset to other people that are watching as well. So again, if you're doing something, I know how hard it is, but try to at least not go for that last 20%. And that's one thing that I learned from uni as well. Like in the UK, if you get a 7, I mean, you're the best. I mean, if you get 70%, right? Over 70%, it's a first. And that's the highest grade that you need. 71 or even 70 is the same as 95 or 96. And 95 or 96 is unheard of. None in my class of 80 engineers managed to get over 90 in an overall term. Some got close to 85 or higher. Obviously, those marks are not disclosed, but we would be talking between us, right? And the highest ones, there were a couple or 3 of them who were around 85, but the majority of us were around 70, 60. And that kind of made me realize it ended out well. It doesn't even matter. So usually the world doesn't tax you if things are not 100% perfect. So I know it's stressful, but you can launch something that's not perfect, that's not ideal. That's usually when you're not taking money for it. When you're taking money from it, then it's harder. You want to have a higher level of perfection. You want to under-promise, over-deliver, but also make sure that you are delivering the bare necessities and something additional to that. If you're paying for a service, you want to be granted that service. So this doesn't apply if you're providing a service that you get paid for, okay? So legal advice, if I'm not solving your legal issue, then I shouldn't get paid for, to be fair. If I'm not solving it due to my, let's say, either lack of time or there's something going on, so I don't have time to prepare for the process, okay? I don't have to time to look through the documents, to do the due diligence, right? In that case, well, honestly, that's not an ideal place to be, so that's not even a 6 or 7. So I'm hoping I know this is very, very easy. I'm not sure why I want to explain things over and over again. But jumping to the last segment of this video, I want to make this on a monthly basis. And this is going to be a book recommendation. Obviously, I'm not the end-all be-all, and I don't claim that I know that much. But there are books that impacted me, there are books that helped me, and there are books that didn't move me, and I wouldn't want you to waste time with them. So I'm thinking to give you one great book and one book that I would recommend you to skip. I'm not sure if I will keep this for the longer time, but for now I think that's an interesting topic or way of phrasing things. So most people would say this is not a great book, but I'm recommending How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. It's some book, you can see some markings. I'm at the third read of it. I usually like to reread things that have helped me in the past, and this book, and I know the claim will sound crazy, but after 6 months of insomnia, after reading this book, I think 2 times or 1 time and a half, obviously there are some chapters on insomnia, and I focused on those chapters. But I was in Singapore, I was walking next to a river, and I had this playing in my ears because I was listening via Audible. And no, this is not sponsored. I wish it were, but yeah. So I was listening to this, and somehow I internalized that my biggest worry was that I will be tired and I wouldn't be able to do anything the next day, because that's how I am. If I'm tired, I'm not that proficient. I'm not that efficient, actually, not proficient. I think my broken English took a toll on me then. But see, I found out that it made sense to me, and I didn't need any sort of pills from then on, any sort of medicine. It took less and less time for me to fall asleep, and eventually it came back to a sort of normal. I still go to bed at later hours. I'm a night owl by design, so roughly 2 a.m. for me. But the book really helped, and I think it's incredible. And if there would be one book that I would say to avoid, to be fair, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People didn't help me that much. I didn't find it extremely productive. I found that it's a long read, it's a lot of information. The best thing to do for that book is to just watch a YouTube video that tries to explain it in 10 minutes. That's all you need to know, to be fair. There are lots of things that are being said in that book that are not necessarily practical. So yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's a good book by all the standards, but again, I found that there are little things that I could put into practice, and all the things that I remembered after reading the book, I got them 1 year afterwards when I watched a book summary video on YouTube. So for that one, I think that's my recommendation. Don't skip it, but you know, if you kind of know the title of the chapters and what they mean, I mean, that's kind of all you need to know, to be fair. And I would say it's the same with my YouTube videos, but I still appreciate so much you watching this. It's a massive pleasure to be able to do something that I enjoy. It's autumn, it's dark, as you can see. Everything is grayed out, there is fog outside, and this makes me incredibly happy. So I'm just incredibly happy to be able to share things with you. Thank you so much, and we'll hear each other in a regular, normal video on a single topic the next week. Thank you.